So hello, everybody. I'm Dara Ward. I am the Director of Marketing Operations. I did just add a quick slide for those of you that aren't familiar with what Marketing Operations does. Basically, we are a supportive team for the entire marketing organization and actually all of go-to-market as well. And Leslie, should we start with you and let you ask your first question?
Yeah. So from slide 7, can you talk a little bit more about what it really means to improve visibility and accuracy of lean data lead to account fuzzy matching capabilities?
Yeah, and also because I put a slide in front, this is now.
Oh, sorry.
No, that's my fault. I should have fixed that. So we're talking about an item on slide 8. So yes, what this is basically the ability when you're on an account record in Salesforce to be able to see associated leads. And it is using fuzzy matching that Lean Data has to decide if that company name looks like the account name. And it puts it on the account record so that SDRs sales can see that there is an associated lead and potentially, there's new engagement there that they can go after.
Great.
Does that answer that one?
It does. And then my second question is, so my team and I are opening issues all the time for your team. So thank you for accepting those, taking them on. But are y'all reviewing them I see Sarah Daly laugh and she gets them from me too. Are y'all reviewing them every Monday?
So when Claudia joined us, it actually made this much easier to actually have some time to do this. So she and I have been taking it on that every Monday we do review them. It doesn't mean that they're not being seen before that. It just means at a minimum that we are going through what is in triage on Monday and assigning those or making comments and trying to figure out next steps on them.
Okay, so if it's Tuesday and it was open Monday night, team, don't worry, by the next Monday, y'all will have looked at them and assigned.
Exactly.
Great, thank you.
Thank you. Mark, are you on?
You say that with some question. Oh crap, Ruggy's gonna ask something. And so this is a question about as we build out our QBR decks for next quarter, as we build out territory plans for each individual territory. Obviously, the data component of that's a big deal. I know we're working on some of the things that you mentioned in the agenda with the marketing metrics in regard to SAOs and MQLs and some other stuff. I know they're still working on that. And so this is really about building out the rest of the territory plan to help the reps. And so even finding things like current spend and current ARR and renewal dates and having that all in one place would be super, super, super helpful for building out their territory plans. And so you answered it here. I think it's all good. Just kind of the next step of the data that would help build out the territory plans to make us more predictable as we go forward.
Well, and I will say that one of the things that we have been hoping to do as a combined go-to-market team is actually have sort of a single pane of glass or a single source of truth in the dashboards where we can see everything soup to nuts. At this point, it really has just been, the marketing side building up to, pipeline, and it hasn't gone much further than that. But the hope, I think, is for it to be one pane that all of go-to-market looks at. And then hopefully we can also filter down to, different levels as we're doing on the two that I called out.
Yeah, and that's super helpful. It's going to be pretty hard to build out individual territory plans without some of this stuff. And that's coming up in Q3. So that's why I bring it up now. But yeah. Thanks, I appreciate it.
No, it makes perfect sense. All right, Haley was not able to be on the call, so I will, again, she's talking about slides 6 and 8, but I'll verbalize for her. Under the SDR space, both mentioned Drift, and it seems like there are some great things coming with these changes and improvements. Do you know when the EMEA team will be able to leverage this tool? I thought we were to be onboarded this quarter. Beth, are you on the call and want to describe it a little bit more?
Sure, I can. So Drift is a chat platform that allows, if you're not familiar with it, allows site visitors that are on various pages, not all of our GitLab pages, but some of our web pages to interact directly with SDRs. We've onboarded it We've onboarded all the SDRs with the exception of EMEA, and we will be doing that in August. So we just finalized our renewal, and we're able to get some of our compliance questions answered. So we will be scheduling those enablement sessions in the next, I'll be sending out the invites next week for sometime in August.
Mona, are you ready to verbalize that?
Yes, sorry, didn't realize I was up so fast. Yeah, I was just asking about the bug that is talked about. I don't know what slide it's on, but basically said fix bug on sync between LinkedIn Sales Navigator and Salesforce. Looks like that's completed, but I don't really know what that is and how it benefits the SDR team.
So basically, it was using an old API link that basically just broke. It was for somebody that has since left the company. And so it was not doing the sync that it had been doing previously. I think there's more work that we need to do to see what we can get LinkedIn Sales Navigator to update for us in Salesforce. Nicole, I don't know if you're on the call and want to address something.
So
at this
sorry,
point.
can I just ask one question? So are you just talking about it finding the person on LinkedIn? Like a lead comes in, we check the LinkedIn Sales Navigator. You're just talking about that?
Yeah, so
Okay.
what it basically was just a broken link, but we were able to fix that and sync it back with the help
Okay.
of sales systems.
I just wanted to make sure I wasn't missing anything where we can actually sync records from LinkedIn into Salesforce, because that's something that's been a really big challenge
Yeah,
for the SDR team.
Mona, I can help address that as well. That's a thing we're still trying to solve for. And but to answer more specifically about the CRM sync that was broke, it is now fixed. There is additional, like Dara said, there's additional work that can be done. So there's actually a widget that can sit within Salesforce. And me and sales ops are reviewing that this next sprint to see if that's going to help the SDR workflow as well.
Okay, got it. Cool.
Looks like I've got the next one. Or Dara, were you gonna follow
No, I
up?
just wanted to make sure that I answered Mona's question.
You good, Mona?
Yeah, thank you.
All right, thanks, Leslie.
Yep. So I see we've got some public sector folks on this call, and I was excited to see in your slides the changes that were specifically made to lead routing for the public sector. Beth, can you speak a little bit to kind of what those updates were, and if any of the PubSec folks want to jump in and share if that's been better, or maybe they already have in the issue?
Yeah, for sure. And I'm always glad to get some more feedback. So if there is better or things we can do better, I'm all ears. So what we've done, and I think this was effective early June, is that we're actually routing public sector leads that we can identify either through LeanData's lead to account match or through some other like kind of domain-based logic that we're leveraging. We're sending those public sector leads directly to the SDRs that are now aligned to the public sector. So we have 2 SDRs that are now taking on those leads. I think so far the feedback has been really positive, but as I think anyone who's worked in public sector related marketing knows, there's always room for improvement, especially for identifying those folks. So if we're seeing any patterns that we can address and improve our lead routing, I am happy to take those on.
This is Helen from Public Sector, and I have to say, I can't thank you enough. This is wonderful. We can't wait to test it with our upcoming workshop on September 2nd, where we're really focusing in on public sector and being able to really work with the new ability to have the public sector lead focused list. Also, I've seen a lot of great work with Mona and her team. I mean, the work that the SDRs have done for public sector has been tremendous these past couple of months, and we're so excited to have them on the team.
Hi, this is Christine. I'm public sector. I'm an ISR, and I would second that. Thank you so much for giving us 2 SDRs. They're fantastic. They've taken a big job off our shoulders that was actually not getting done. Again, just thank you so much. And the Drift campaign, or what they're doing with Drift, Beth, I have gotten immediate leads and also been able to quote and close 2 deals because that is now working, and we're getting the information in a timely manner. So thank you.
Awesome. That's great to hear.
And I just want
Hey
to
Beth, real quick. Oh, I'm sorry, Michael.
no, I just want to third everything they
Okay, I
said.
just had a quick question. Has this been communicated via the public sector Slack channel so the sales leadership on the PubSec side is aware of this? Because I've had some conversations with them about some lead routing issues, and I think they would be really excited to learn about this if they're not already aware.
I would think so. Brent is my manager, and I know he's working a lot with Mona directly, and Paul Almeida is aware of the activity.
Great, awesome, thank you.
Yeah, and I've had numerous conversations with Paul and the area sales managers as well on the lead routing and stuff.
Before we dive off of that, and thanks everybody for, yes, crediting Beth did that routing so quickly and really enabled us to be able to start getting all over those leads. So awesome job, Beth. I do want to bring up that we do have some issue with contacts and that ownership assignment. That's across the board. I think, in every segment, every region, contacts are just, they're kind of in all different people's ownership right now, whether it's SALs, ISRs, et cetera. So just a heads up, when we do run campaigns, Helen, with workshops, when those leads come in, if they're already contacts, sometimes those can be hard for us to get eyes on as an SDR and to know whether or not that's we haven't gotten clear rules of whether or not we should be following up with them, the ISRs or the SALs, who's going to own those. Sometimes they're in talks with people already. So there's still some work to do on that front. Beth, I don't know if you want to speak to that at all.
No, that's a really good point, Mona. And that is something that marketing ops and sales ops have been talking about to try to make sure that any contact ownership updates that we need to make, which there are a few different places where we can make improvements there, that we're doing that in a way that aligns to kind of sales strategy on the topic as well. So there's an open issue, or it may be an epic, I'm not sure, related to this conversation. I'll make sure to link it in this agenda doc. And I think anyone who wants to, add their perspective there so that we can, to your point, Mona, come to a better conclusion about how we want to manage contacts, and especially when it comes to marketing related activity against those records, making sure that we have the right folks involved to handle that follow-up.
Just to add a little bit more to it, we sort of made an agreement with sales ops. They own accounts, we own leads, and then contacts are shared because the contacts are sitting on the account record. So there's a lot more involved when it gets to contacts. So we just need to make sure that we're not screwing anything up as we change things out, but also to know that, in the past, there were a lot of leads that were actually routed straight to contact. So we've got some legacy things in there that really were never actually converted or prospecting by sales. So we're also trying to play with that and figure out the best way to manage through that. But it is on the list. Maybe we should have had that as part of our what's next too. So. Hayden, would you like to vocalize?
Sure. Thanks, Dara. Pretty self-explanatory. Just curious if you could expand a little bit on what you're looking to achieve with the lead source buckets. One thing that we're really interested in the sales side is really getting some more insights into what are good lead sources for sellers. And I just took a screenshot of the report that we used to use on the QBR template. They're very broad buckets. So I'm wondering what the initiative is trying to do.
Yeah, and here's a difference between what initial source is on the lead and the contact record versus what it shows up as in the opportunity. So sometimes there's a disconnect there. We have too many, in my mind, where we had too many initial sources from, a marketing perspective. The list was, 25, 30 long. Robert, if you're on the call, you can call me out on exactly what those were. We've shortened them a little bit, and we've tried to put them in different buckets, and actually we're still working through that. We probably put too much into an inbound category and lost some of the granularity that we actually need for that. So I do agree, and we probably need to work with sales ops closely to figure out how we really want to show the sources as they come into the opportunity, because I believe this is off the opportunity versus the contact person. So
It is, yeah, you're right. That leads to another question, I guess, which is, how do we triangulate all these? We've got the lead source, the opportunity source, maybe the lead qualified source, which I know we used to have at the opportunity view. We've got all the visible touch points. There's another, I think there's a score for the account. I can't remember what tool we use for that. But how do we collate all that information to inform the sellers and provide them insight into what is a good bet for similar looking deals?
yeah, so I didn't put it on the what's next because I think it's a little farther out than we can actually say that we're going to do. But the hope is, as we've moved towards this linear attribution. You've probably heard Todd talk about, moving to linear attribution, which is saying, not just what it was that broke the camel's back to make it an opportunity, but actually looking at every touch along the entire journey and what they touched. And, the silver bullet, as Robert's calling it, is looking at what is the perfect path, right? And being able to repeat that so that, if we see somebody that's on the website and downloads something, we know the next best thing is X, and we encourage that and guide them to that place. So that is sort of the direction we're trying to head, and a little bit less focused specifically on, which source is better now, but seeing what that perfect path is.
Yep, that makes sense. Thank you. Yeah, that's totally what would be ideal for sellers to understand. So thank you. Appreciate it.
Absolutely. We do have 9 more minutes if there are other questions.
I'll add it into the doc, Dara, but what keeps you up at night? I know it's not an MA, but still.
Actually, nothing. I sleep fairly well.
Yes.
I have an awesome team, and I think that really contributes to it. I honestly, that what keeps you up at night, there's a lot going on. We always have a lot of challenges, but I think that's actually part of the fun of being in ops, is that we are always, there's balls in the air, and you've got to keep the right ones up and make sure that nothing falls. But yeah, at this point, I just feel like I keep seeing light at the end of the tunnel. I feel like we're fixing a lot of things and we're getting a stronger foundation. If you'd asked me 3 or 4 months ago, I might have said that was the thing that was worrying me. But at this point, I actually feel pretty good that we're seeing an uptick. We're seeing that things are coalescing and we're getting better.
Yeah, and I love how you're using the GitLab properly with the sprints and the different labels and everything. It's all working really well now as far as that's concerned, triaging everything.
Thank you. The idea there really is communication and making sure that everybody is clear on when we're addressing issues and how they fit in. We're also trying to use more epics so that it can be clear, what, you just brought up a great issue and it relates to these other 10 issues that we're already working on. So it, where it comes into play, we actually added a little label called in epic, even bright yellow, so that we can see it on our Kanban board. But I think that's also going to help with that communication of knowing, yeah, there's other people who are having my same problem, and it's not just it's not just me, kind of thing. So.
Yeah, and it's educating people as well, which is great. Thank you.
And we are going to, I put it on there, we're going to try to move to iterations. I need to look into it more, but excited to see that GitLab now has iterations as well as milestones. So we'll have to coordinate with our project managed agility team in marketing to do that when everybody else does it. But excited to look at what that can do for us too. Anybody on the team want to highlight anything that's going on before we close this out? All right, I think a lot is in there. We've left a lot of links, and there is a ton going on. So
Thanks, marketing ops.
thank you.
Thank you all.
Bye-bye.